Hello and welcome to another episode of Historic Hindsight. I'm John, that's Tom, and today we're drinking for free.
That's right, Johnny, or nearly free 10-cent beer night. It's at least while we're recording this, it's the anniversary of the infamous or famous Cleveland Indians 10-cent beer night on June 4th, 1974.
What
where
a great deal.
promotions thought it'd be a really good idea to have 10-cent beer night because what could possibly go wrong with that?
I mean, you're gonna get butts in the seats, right? Like that's
Butts
what you
in the
want to
seats.
do as a promotional manager or whatever. That's your job is to get people there, and if you have to sell beer at or below cost, fine. They'll buy hot dogs too, right? Keep those
I
at
do. No, no, I
$1.50 or
know.
whatever.
No deal on the food.
Yeah,
It's
so
just
keep
10
it
cent.
the,
Yeah,
the
just 10
normal
cent.
price, and then people are gonna get that because they got something to soak up all that delicious beer.
Well, I don't know.
So
if
are we
it's
just talking about?
delicious.
Is this like an episode on like the best promotions ever?
It could be. Well, let's set the stage, Johnny. Let's set the stage. We got to go on our time machines, put our time machines on, get in DeLoreans, go back to 1974 in Cleveland, Ohio. And
Back
what was
when
life
they're
like?
Still the Indians.
Still the Indians,
And,
yeah. It hasn't changed.
Indianapolis's team. It's hard,
Yeah, there
easy
you
to
go.
go back there because we're still the Indians.
Still the Indians. Still the Indians. Unlike Cleveland, which is now like the Guardians, which is a whole other fun story of how they had to pay some roller derby team for their name. Anyways. 1974, Cleveland, Ohio. The city itself and the team were kind of going through a depression. Like, the team was kind of shit. The city was kind of shit. It's on the verge of hundreds and hundreds of factories closing over the last decade.
Okay, so that was because I knew they were kind of in that Rust Belt area.
Yeah, it's definitely the Rust
And
Belt
so-
of everything's gone.
So this is at the point where everything has started to. Everybody's losing their jobs.
Yeah,
Essentially.
and everybody's lost their jobs, and things have gotten so bad that the Cuyahoga River that runs through the city is so full of pollution this summer from the shutdown factories that have just like dumped all their waste.
Oh, because they're like, oh yeah,
whatever,
we
we're
can't
shut
run
down.
a.
Who cares?
Yeah, go ahead and fine us. We're defunct.
Yeah, we're done anyways. Who cares? That the Cuyahoga River caught fire multiple times over the summer of 1974 because of how polluted it was.
Tommy, normally I would be like, that's impossible. How could water ever catch fire? But I recently saw an ocean catch on fire, and so I get it.
Yeah.
Horrifying. Really
Horrifying.
not a good
It
thing.
happens.
River also seems, I don't know, that feels worse.
Feels a little worse,
Somehow.
yeah. So pair this up with a crap baseball team, Johnny, and the average stadium attendance was only 2,500 fans per game.
What? Hold on. They're major league. This is
Yeah, they're major.
still-
Yeah, this is Cleveland
They
Indians.
didn't get brought up later. 2,500.
2,500, yeah. And to keep that in mind, the current Indianapolis Indians
Yeah.
AAA minor league team has an average attendance of over 8,000. So not doing so
But
well
it's
in
a nice
Cleveland.
venue. If you are in Indianapolis and you catch a game, it's a fun family event. So, and sometimes they do dollar hot dogs and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
it's on Tuesday.
I can
Tuesdays is
see
dollar,
why.
dollar hot dogs, dollar Cracker Jacks. So
Almost 3 times as many people go to
Indians game,
Indianapolis Indians over
Yeah.
Cleveland Indians.
Cleveland Indians, yeah. Now, this led to some outside-the-box thinking to boost fan attendance, get those butts in seats, and it really does kind of sound like the plot of a movie with Charlie Sheen as the pitcher here. But the idea here was that Stroh's Beer Company, a Detroit, Michigan beer company, offered to sell their beer at 10 cents, which is 55 cents today, for an 8-ounce cup. The stadium was on board with this proposal, except they had one little change, and that was, we don't really want to buy new cups, so we're just going to keep it as the standard 12-ounce pour that we already have. We'll just stay 10 cents, but 12 ounce instead of 8 ounce.
Yeah, well, they're already cutting out a lot of their profits, so they can't afford to buy the cups to do the smaller
more
amounts. Maybe just tell the attendants, the bartenders, to
Half pour?
give it a shorty.
Give it, yeah. But by the way, Johnny, the regular price of the Stroh's beer there was 65 cents or $3.57 today. So this is one hell of a good discount. And in reality, like that's actually like reasonably like $3.57 for domestic beer at a ball game is not an awful price. That's kind of
that'd be
I think we have a Thirsty
awesome
Thursdays. Yeah, I think our Thirsty
price.
Thursdays are like that. But
That's,
10,
yeah,
50,
that's still the discounted by today's standards, especially Major League.
yeah,
I
55
went to,
cent beer. Think about that.
I was
Going
buying
to a,
$9 to $11 beers, I think.
Yeah,
at
go
the
to
Cubs
a
game that I went to recently.
Go to a ball game and spend
Maybe
55 cents a beer. That's
That's
put it in
insane.
context of how ridiculous
Yeah.
This deal was going to be.
Even if it was dollar beer night at a Major League Baseball game, you'd think, holy hell, how are they doing this?
Yeah, right.
This is the cheapest you could ever drink here.
And,
In most places, really.
And speaking of cheap beer, me and Johnny could not find Stroh's in our neck of the woods in Indiana, so Johnny is drinking Miller High Life.
Nope.
Stroh's.
I just adjusted the name, and now it is a Stroh's. So I imagine probably about the same.
Yeah, I'm drinking Coors Light, which I imagine also kind of probably
Probably
tastes
about the same. Yeah. I almost got
about the
Coors
same.
Banquet, which would have been about the same, but I didn't.
As Miller High Life. Yeah, probably.
So instead, I got this.
There are other exceptions. They did want to put a limit on the amount that you could purchase, and by that I mean at one time you could purchase up to 6 beers at one time, but there's no limit on how many times you come back to continue to purchase. Which how are you holding 6 12-ounce beers?
These are not the German Fest mugs with the handles.
No,
where
these
you
are
can
like
just
solo
reach in
cups.
and grab the center of it.
No, these are solo
They
cups.
limit it. Why 6? So you could get one for your whole family and walk it back to them? You and your wife and your 4 kids?
Your 4 kids, yeah, I guess. Well, it is the 1970s, so drinking age is 18. And keep that in mind for later down the road. The expectation here is that this promotion would bring in somewhere around maybe 5 to 10,000 fans. So we're expecting to kind of like double
to quadruple.
To quadruple our fan base is what we're expecting.
They're expecting to get it up to Indianapolis Indians attendance standards.
Yes, and what better game to choose than their rivals? Down the road, the Texas Rangers.
Yeah,
which
I don't know anything about the rivalry.
Here's the rub here, Johnny. On May 29th, 1974, the Indians and the Rangers played a game in Texas. But trouble ensued in this game when in the 4th inning, a Ranger, Lenny Randall, was on first base, Tom Grieve on second, and the Rangers would hit a line drive to third base where Cleveland would get a double play. No problem here. Step on bag number 3, throw it off to the second. The problem here is Randall, when he was running to second, slid hard into the second baseman, Jack Brohammer, knocking him down. To retaliate late in the 8th, Cleveland pitcher Milt Wilcox threw a hard ball behind Randall's leg, which he responds then by bunting the next pitch to Wilcox. As Wilcox is running to the first baseline, Randall decides to full-on fucking tackle him, knocking him down, at which point a whole brawl ensues.
They cleared the benches.
Yeah, clear benches. This is a whole
The
brawl.
only exciting thing to happen in baseball
Big
aside
fight.
from a triple play.
I'm gonna put some of the video of this happening as we're recording it. Hopefully YouTube doesn't strike us on it, but
they will. But what are you gonna do? It's worth
full
it.
Full on
Holy
plowed.
cow.
This is hockey style brawl. This is a good baseball game.
I don't know about that. I bet it was a whole lot of guys just kind of pushing and shoving and grabbing and like pretending and getting ready to play. Have you ever watched like broken down and watched closely a baseball fight?
Yeah, it's not.
It's
quite
a lot of people fighting that don't want to fight. They don't want any piece of that. They just want to show people that they're willing to.
When things finally start to calm down, Cleveland players are returning to their dugout. Rangers fans begin throwing food at them, prompting yet more chaos. And in the end, the Rangers are going to win this game 3-0.
Now, that should have told the Rangers that their food was too cheap. Because if people are taking their food and chugging it at players, you got to bump those prices up.
A little bit. When a Cleveland reporter asked the Ranger manager, Billy Martin, if he was going to wear armor when they face Cleveland Indians, expecting that, like, when they go to Cleveland, the fans are going to get retaliation here.
They're just preparing for another battle.
His response is, and I quote, "Nah, they won't have enough fans there to worry about." Which, I mean, to be fair,
he's right. Because you got to figure only a percentage of the fans are going to storm the field or do anything,
He would have been right, Johnny. He
But
would have been right had it not been for
promotions
10 cent beer
department.
night.
This promotions person, give them a raise. I
Well,
assume they get promoted at the end of this.
We might want to hold that thought there, Johnny. Over the next week, the 10-cent beer night is promoted. The Indians radio announcer, Joe Tate, gets fans all riled up leading up to the game. Like, you can't let them get away with this. He said you won't have any fans. Come down for 10-cent beer night. It'll be the best game of the season.
There are few things better than angry AM radio fans calling into like that station, the local sports talk station, and just letting loose and getting they get so riled up, and then the local host is just looks them up.
The result here is that 25,130 fans show up to the game, over double what Cleveland was expecting.
25,000?
Who only hired 50 security guards for the night. 50 security guards for 25,000 fans that are exposed to ludicrously cheap beer.
So that's like one
10-cent
guard
beer
per 1,000 people.
6-pack of Coors Light that I bought was $6. So it's cheaper than that. $1 a beer. And that's like going to a grocery store.
Okay, Tom. I feel like maybe I'm going. No, I won't get into it. But that's if they had that many more people than they planned on, I'm guessing they might have had supply issues down the road.
Johnny, you're right. They're going to have supply issues. We're going to get into that because buckle up. It's time for a ball game. Take us out to the ball game, Johnny, where we're going to have some 10-cent beers and some good old time with lack of security and lack of the proper number of kegs. That's going to play in here in a minute. So, the game itself, Johnny. Rangers take a quick early lead, and in the early innings, Cleveland's LeRon Lee is going to hit a line drive into the stomach of the pitcher, Ferguson Jenkins, toppling him to the ground in pain because he just got hit
with a line drive. That hurts. That's over 100 miles an hour.
The already drunk crowd begins chanting, hit him again, hit him again, hit him again, harder, harder, harder.
What inning did he hit him?
This is the fourth inning, Johnny.
End of the fourth.
No, not the fourth inning. This is the second inning. Second inning. Early game, yeah.
Yeah, Texas got a 1-0 lead in the second.
Yeah, we're already up there.
And of Johnny, course, fans are drunk already. Because
fans are drunk already. And it's 1970s where the security at these places, like I said, 50 security guards, not that much. And they're not like metal detecting you on your way in. And so lots of fans brought in fireworks, including bottle rockets, because they thought that was a good idea. So fireworks start going off in the stadium around this time.
Okay, so this is just because fireworks have recently gone on sale for the 4th of July.
Probably, yes.
So people are going out and buying them and then bringing them to a baseball game with basically free beer.
Yes.
Why? To do... The intent is what?
Nothing good, Johnny. Nothing good. Like I said, fireworks begin ringing out after the whole hit him again thing. In the second inning, Ranger Tom Grieve would hit a dinger, crank a dinger. That's Rangers guy cranking a dinger, increasing the lead here. And I guess to protest or maybe to celebrate, a middle-aged woman ran onto the field, flashed her breasts to the stand, and then tried to kiss the head umpire, Nestor Chilak, who was not having any of this. Overweight middle-aged woman flashing her breasts at him, which, I mean, come on, buddy. Like, have some fun here. Who's
no, you can't just let people run onto the field, Tommy. That's that. Security has a job to do, and they did their job.
Well, security.
I got to go find the beer guy at this place and get a free beer real quick.
There you go. Johnny's back with his beer. All right. In the fourth inning, Johnny Grieve is going to hit a second dinger, followed this time by a fully naked man running onto the field. Although I say fully naked, in the pictures you do see that he is still wearing one sock. It's like he was streaking, but didn't get it all.
Then maybe let's ease up on the hyperbole, reporters. He was a mostly naked man.
He was mostly naked man. He did have one sock. He's going to slide into second base, and then he's going to run out of the stadium. Yeah, naked, sliding into second
sand?
Base. He's going to be chased by security, but not caught. He does get out of the stadium free and clear.
You want to know why, Tommy?
Because they had 50 security guards for 25,000 people.
And no one wants to tackle the naked man running away.
The naked covered in sand now.
Nobody wants any piece of that. No, you do it. No, I'm going to deal with these, 6,000 people or whatever that I'm in charge of to being the security guard over.
Now, it's around this time, Johnny, that the beer supply was running low and
Wait,
not
and
being properly...
We're in the fourth
inning.
Not even to this. Oh god.
Not even halfway. And not being properly staffed, Stroh's decided, fuck it, roll the beer trucks into the outfield fence and just let them pour directly from the beer trucks, who were going to allow being manned by a couple of teenage girls. Teenage girls, Johnny. Teenage, scantily claddly dressed girls.
Well, beer girls, right?
Beer girls.
It was
They're
their
teenagers,
employees.
yeah.
It's the liquor girls or whatever.
Yeah, the liquor,
It's
whatever.
At
Yeah,
any type of trade show.
They're not 21,
wherever
Johnny. These are teenagers.
Tommy,
18 at best.
it was 1974.
It was 1974.
Come on, they were probably there on account of human trafficking. Let's be honest.
Probably.
Sorry, got dark.
Unfortunately, like I said, those teenage girls also quickly get overwhelmed with the number of people coming at them for beer and probably inappropriately touching them and all kinds of things because it's 1974 that they say fuck it and they walk off too. At which point the crowd flips over the cash table and 10-cent beer night just all of a sudden became free beer night where people aren't even bothering. They're not even bothering to put cups underneath the taps. They're just taking pulls right from
drunk people at a tap. Nothing better.
Right from the tap. Cleveland war drums and fireworks are still going off everywhere, and we're only halfway into the game. In the fifth...
Not even.
No,
here we go. Halfway through.
Into the fifth, two men mooned or jumped over the outfield and then mooned the outfielders that were playing, the Rangers outfielders, and which caused a stoppage in play as security officers tried to chase them down. So we now have like 4 streakers that have been on the field at this point.
For those of you keeping track at home, we have one woman's pair of breasts, a whole mostly naked man, and then two butts.
2 male butts. Yep.
Okay.
After things calm down, Ranger manager Billy Martin has a conference with his pitcher on the mound. The crowd grows upset at the stoppage of this play, not upset at
because now
but they're upset because it's the Rangers, the guy stopping it. That they
it wasn't one of them that was
they began throwing hot dogs and full cups of beer into the field. That now the beer I understand it's free, who cares? But the hot dogs,
don't throw your
hot dogs. So I mean that's a full price hot dog.
But when you have that many free beers, I mean you're still still getting out of there for $20 or less.
Yeah, probably.
Like today's money.
Yes. When Billy would return to the dugout after all this shenanigans was going on, he's going to think it's a good idea to rile up the crowd by blowing kisses at them. At which point the bear. Yeah, at which point the crowd starts shooting bottle rockets into the Rangers dugout.
And it's just a bottle rocket war. There you go. I wonder how many of them just you ever take the sticks off it and light it and then
then just huck it and then it goes.
Yeah, we used to make like little circles with the wick in the middle with a bunch of ones without sticks and then light it and then play around. Don't do this at home.
That's
anybody.
We do not approve of this. Meanwhile, the announcer gets onto the radio and announces to the crowd, "Hey, please don't throw things onto the field and kindly stop shooting bottle rockets," which just encourages more of that behavior to happen because
you're talking to a bunch of super drunk children in adult disguises.
And it's around the bottom of the 5th inning where the security just stops bothering chasing the streakers that are now running on the field at every other minute because we haven't caught
somebody
yet,
started a trend.
The trend's there.
Yeah. It's the 70s. We're in that free love era, right? All of that.
Yeah, free love
business.
Yeah. Ranger first baseman Mike Hargrove was nearly hit in the head during all this with a glass-gallon jug of Thunderbird, which I had to look that up, Johnny. It's basically the equivalent to our generation's Boone Farm. So. Yeah. Somebody brought in a whole gallon jug of crappy, shitty wine and hucked it onto the field, damn near hitting the first baseman.
They did that on 10-cent beer night?
Right, just have the 10-cent beer, yeah.
Come on.
Well,
security,
Johnny,
one of the 50 security guards didn't catch
that.
Smuggling it in under their shirt.
Glass jug of shit wine.
They probably just had it over their shoulder.
Just taking pull, it's like when they take the pulls of it from the moonshine. I imagine that's what they were doing all night long. Yeah.
On their way in, security didn't even see him.
Didn't even see it. More crap was thrown on the field when Leron Lee hit a line drive, which promoted the hit him harder. He's the guy who hit the line drive, hit him harder guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to slide feet first into third base, where he spikes Jenkins so
There
bad
it
that
is.
Jenkins has to leave the game. I'm not a big baseball fan, but I know enough to know that you don't think you're supposed to slide feet first. I think that's
No. Nope, that's fine. You can
it's
slide feet first.
it's
What
frowned
you
upon.
don't do is raise up.
Your leg
As you
and
slide,
then-
you don't raise that up.
and
That's the
just jab it
spiking.
into the knee.
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
spiking bit when you raise
you're
that foot up.
That's frowned upon. That's frowned
Yes.
upon. After the call was challenged that Lee was safe, fans stormed the field and made off with several bases. Cause screw the umpire.
What?
Johnny
Fans
game's not over.
Stole
Yeah.
bases in the
Fans-
fifth inning, sixth inning?
No, we're in the sixth inning now. Yeah.
Oh, the sixth inning was a big one. Both teams scored 2 runs.
Yeah.
But how? There weren't even bases.
There were bases. By the 7th inning, Johnny, the crowd thinned out as families with children left, and off. It's 7th inning. If you know anything about baseball, that's where they cut you off with a beer. But the problem
Seventh
is
inning stretch.
the problem is the beer kegs
Beers are already
the trucks
free.
are just sitting there, and there's nobody manning them anyways. So there's no cutting anybody off. But the families they're like, all right, we've had enough of this shenanigans, and they're gone.
The good families were gone in the second inning.
So now by the 7th, we're just left with all the drunkards. And somehow, Johnny, the game is still being played. By the 9th inning, Cleveland has tied the game up 5-5. And this is where the shit really hits the fan. If it wasn't already crazy enough, buckle up.
They decide to keep the game going and play overtime.
Yeah, well, Johnny, when the Indians tie the game up, a drunk 19-year-old fan by the name of Terry Yurkic, he's going to run onto the field and try to steal the Rangers outfielder Jeff Burrow's cap off of his head. The Rangers, only seeing a fan accosting a fellow player, manager Martin clears the bench. Like, he gets up and starts running out into the field. This is the manager of the Rangers team.
He's had to have had it
to
by
go
this
kick
point.
the shit out of this fan.
Like, he's got to be thinking, what kind of backwards town am I in?
To which point, the fans, approximately 200 of them, seeing the Rangers all going and accosting one of the Cleveland fans, decide that this is the time to also run onto the field, where they're going to grab everything they can, including bottles, ripping up chairs from the stadium and using those as weapons, and anything they can grab their hands on.
So just a riot. It
we're
just turned
full
into
blood,
a brawl, riot, mosh pit type.
So now we have
The
200
players
angry
are
fans.
in danger here.
Yeah,
Are
we
they
have
not?
200.
Like, this is, this is a funny story, but Tommy, do we have a casualty report of the
We do have a casualty report at the end of this.
Shit.
They're going to charge now the 25 players of the Rangers are surrounded by 200 fans. Cleveland manager, realizing that the Ranger players were fucked and showing some good sportsmanship, ordered his players to grab bats and go defend the Rangers. So literally, they're grabbing.
So now it's players versus fans.
This is players versus fans at this point.
Grab your bat, which is a weapon that if you use, it is assault with a deadly weapon.
Although I think it's self-defense at this point.
No, but just in general, just as far as
yes.
speaking as, it's not just like a sports equipment. It's assault with a
No,
deadly
it's a weapon now. Yeah, it's gone from sports equipment to weapon.
Really easy to kill someone with a little to the head.
Yeah, Cleveland's relief pitcher, Tom Helgendorf, he's going to be hit in the head with a folding metal chair. WWE style, and the players of both teams wind up fighting their way to the locker rooms where they barricade themselves in while the rest of the stadium is in full-blown riot mode.
So the players got to the locker room? That's who got to
Yes,
it?
they get to
Not
the locker room.
fans,
Both
okay.
players get to the locker rooms, barricade themselves in.
Yeah,
At this point, fans
good.
begin stealing everything that's not bolted down, and even stuff that is bolted
some
down.
of the stuff
They're
that is
stealing
bolted
chairs.
down.
All the plates are now all completely stolen. All the bases are stolen. They're stealing the padding off the outfield wall for whatever reason. Everything that's not bolted down is being stolen.
And you know what, Tommy? Every single one of those people that were there grew up, and when all the riots were happening a couple of years ago, we were talking about, all these looters just stealing everything. They're there for the wrong reasons. Same people.
Yeah, you're probably right, Johnny. A sports reporter, Dan Coughlin, is going to attempt to get into the action by interviewing fans live when he's promptly punched in the face by one of those fans he's attempting to interview.
Just because
Just
they chose violence that day. They
yeah.
woke up and chose violence.
And Johnny, this might be my favorite part of this whole thing. Cleveland announcers Joe Tate and Herb Score are going to announce the whole 20-minute live riot like while it's going on.
Because they have to. They must.
They must. But this is the best part. The organist is playing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" during all the shit show shit. So he was like, he's like, this is take.
I mean, but the announcers are announcing for radio, which was probably at that point still the primary
even in the 70s,
way
I imagine it's
to
still
consume
probably
radio.
Yeah,
or to consume baseball at least of any of the sports.
While it might not have top TV, it's still like it's still probably high enough.
It was big,
maybe 50-50 split
for
here.
sure. Like my dad grew up in the 70s listening to baseball on radio because not all the games were televised. Remember, there were like 3 channels or 8 channels or something like that. Like not all the games were televised, so you tuned into the the broadcast on your little AM radio station and listened to the description of a riot and fight and brawl and everything else as brought to you by a probably shocked and appalled baseball announcer or whatever as he hits one into left field. Line drive right into the catcher's head.
Line drive, folding metal chair right to the pitcher's head. After police get there, Johnny, police riot, or the Cleveland riot police have to get called in, where they calm things down by hucking tear gas into the stands, because that's about the only thing they could do at this point.
Yeah, you just want to get people out of the building by now. Just leave, please. Go back to your homes.
Once police finally get things calmed down, Cleveland players graciously escort the Rangers to the bus, where they promptly get the hell out of Dodge because, screw that shit. Where the head umpire announces that the Cleveland Indians have to forfeit the game, and the Rangers won by forfeit, even though it was tied 5-5.
Yeah, it was 5-5. They got a.
Yeah. But doesn't much matter because when your fans riot. I think
more and attack the other team.
Yeah, I think
violently and dangerously and perhaps lethally.
Johnny, casualty report.
Okay,
casualty report.
Damn.
So
okay,
first, American League President Lee MacPhail, he's going to say that, and I quote, "There was no question beer played a part in the riot." Yeah, thanks. Needed an investigation on that one,
guys. I know our city's trash, but it was made to look like more trash because of the beer. It wasn't just us. It's not just normal day in Cleveland. It's definitely in part the beer's fault.
It's the beer. 9 fans, Johnny, are going to be arrested and charged with disorderly conduct. Keep that
9?
in mind. Only 9.
I'm sorry, you had 50 police officers, security guards, whatever.
At least 50 people.
And then SWAT showed up.
Yeah, only
9? Do your jobs.
Yeah, an estimated 60,000 beers consumed, which seems a little low for 25,000 fans in attendance. And only 60,000 beer. That seems a little low.
Well, but keep in mind,
that half of them probably weren't drinking.
Were served and recorded and paid for.
Yeah, the rest of the
transactions. The rest were there. And then there's, obviously there's a lot of families there and everything else. So of the 25,000, if you assume, because obviously on free beer night in the 70s, you're going to have a designated driver. So only half of those fans at most are drinking, and even less than that because of the children. So it's like a fourth. And so, you're getting up to 6 to 8 beers a person.
Yeah, all right.
Once you take into account all the responsibility that everybody was shortly displaying.
Yeah, I'm sure. 19 streakers were on the field, Johnny. 19.
It's not. What's the point after the 10? The first 10. Like, what are you even doing? It's not even a special thing anymore.
It's not. Yeah, it's not special. No. Nobody
cares. They've seen it before.
All the bases
gone.
were stolen. Yeah, all stolen.
Do
quite
they
literally.
have backup bases? Because
yes.
they were stolen and then they finished the game. So assuming
Backup
they have...
bases. And by the way, all the stolen backup bases, but all the stolen bases, Johnny, they weren't returned. So still to this day, there are a handful of bases from this riot that are.
I'm surely.
Oh
on
my god!
eBay,
If
right?
I had a
It's gotta be on
disposable
eBay.
amount of income, I would buy a verified Cleveland Indians 10-cent beer night stolen.
I mean, they've
one.
got to be worth
If I had money.
50, 70,000 at least.
Yeah, and at least, and I don't have money to buy that. So, anyways.
I mean, I don't have $50 or $70 to buy that.
Surprisingly, only 7 emergency room, serious emergency room visits were to be had. Nobody died.
Oh, okay, good.
Death-free event.
I mean, as every baseball game should be.
Should be. And Johnny,
death-free
if all of this wasn't shocking enough, the Cleveland Indians are going to host another 10-cent beer night on July 18th, this time with 41,484 fans in attendance. But there was a limit of two total 10-cent beers that you could get at at that price. So
they stamped your hand,
and then it was
or
normal.
something?
No, then it went up to normal price.
Well, right, but
too cheap.
Maybe
Maybe a stamp of hand, I don't know. And there were also a fuck ton more police
that's good.
presence.
Planned a little better than
Planned a little better.
thinking, oh, we might have 8,000 people show up. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then they remembered, oh, wait, we're a town where everybody just lost their jobs over the last several years and are working, jobs they didn't want, trying to scrape to get by, and maybe wanted an afternoon to get super drunk for super cheap.
Super drunk for super
And
cheap.
enjoy some baseball and some rioting and some streaking.
Probably
and
the
not
most
getting arrested.
Probably the most entertaining baseball game ever in the history of baseball games.
I mean, no doubt. But what kind of precedent are you setting when you have this night again? And everybody knows you arrested 9 people out of 225,000. Like, I like those odds.
But the second night went with no riot on the second night. So yeah,
because they had probably several thousand security guards. Or
I would imagine.
Like,
I would imagine.
They're like, we did Cleveland police force, please. Everybody,
all of them.
Just
everybody.
The whole city's here. It's fine. No crime is going to happen outside of the baseball stadium. We just want to try to ensure that it all, it doesn't happen inside again.
That's essentially what happens when Stroh's does a 10-cent beer night. You get a riot.
That's it for this week in Historic Hindsight. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review, and join us next week when we find out all the bad things about John Adams.